Awesome, everybody. Welcome back. And I do mean welcome back. This is an amazing experience, an amazing show. I have an amazing person, Joey Havens, author of Leading with Significance. This is a hot episode, hot news segment, and I'm going to get you in, get you out. And it is what it is. But I need you to do a couple things. I need you to go to YouTube. I need you to go to the search bar, write in CVMK. It stands for Cody Vernon Marshall Kelly. Subscribe, hit the like button, subscribe bell, all the notifications so you can see all the latest, greatest videos. Follow us on Instagram at CVMK_global. It is what it is _show. And my personal Instagram page at CVMK33. And you know where to go, where the best supplements are, pre-workouts, protein, everything. Hopefully you can see it on my screen. There we go. Superpower with me at www.cvmkglobal.store. So I have this guest. I saw his profile. I understood he was an author, read kind of his background, and I was really intrigued. Really wanted to connect with Joey and have him on the show because I really think he has something to offer. So I want to introduce you to my guest, Joey Havens. Joey, how are you doing today?
Oh, Cody, I'm doing great. I feel like I got a little of that superpower in my blood.
Hey, all of us, man. It's amazing. It's amazing pre-workout. But Joey, look, I'm super excited about having you. Thank you so much just for this opportunity. I want the audience to kind of get to understand, who you are and kind of how you came to this point in your life and leading up to the writing of the book.
Absolutely. I never saw myself as an author, to be honest with you. I'm a CPA, a licensed CPA, and I've been with Horn LLP for the last 39 years.
Wow.
So I'm in my last year with them, moving into retirement. And so Leading with Significance and that book and the message around leadership is kind of my fourth quarter, I believe, is what I would call it.
I like it. Well, look, almost 40 years worth of experience. We're going to tap into it. I'm going to ask questions about the book, really pick your brain to see, how did you get to this point? I mean, that's a milestone, that I'm trying to get to, is to be in this niche and really service it and really contribute to it. But just a quick word from our sponsors.
There's a hero in all of us waiting to be unleashed. All it takes is just that one last push. Activate the hero within with CVMK Global Supplements. All natural, steroid-free, designed to enhance performance, build muscle, and increase energy. You are unstoppable. You can do this. Become your own hero at www.cvmkglobal.store.
Awesome. www.cvmkglobal.store. Get it today. So you wrote Leading with Significance. I guess we got to start at the beginning. In your 40 years of experience, what qualifies or what makes up a good leader? Like, how do you know that somebody is a good leader?
Great question. And you, with your advertisement there, I'm so glad I worked out this morning. So now, because I believe a good leader does work out.
Yeah.
I believe a good leader takes care of themselves. Drilling down, the thing that I always look for in somebody is, do they really serve others first? Do they elevate others first? Cody, I teach young leaders sometimes they're moving into their first leadership role. And what I talk to them about is, look, you got into the room today because you're a high performer. You got in the room today because you've been collecting stars and you got stars to display. Today, that completely flips, because as a leader, your role is to give the stars away and to give others credit and to elevate them. And so, the qualities of a good leader, they start with serving others, caring and serving them in a way that leads to high performance. I think a good leader has to have high emotional intelligence today. You got to have good self-awareness. What I do and say affects so many people, and having emotional intelligence and reading people is so important. A A leader today especially has to be a lifelong learner. You've got to always be growing and learning. We live in an exponential world. I think a leader is positive. They're an encourager. They're a sponsor. They're an advocate. All of those are qualities of good leaders. They have courage. Leaders have to make a stand. They have to make hard decisions sometimes. They're great listeners and good communicators. So I don't know. Maybe that's a decent picture of what I think a leader ought to be.
I like it. Something that stood out when you mentioned it. You stated that you have to be selfless, that your job is to now give the stars and develop it. And it's really a sign of emotional intelligence, right? Like this EQ factor, that leaders should possess the ability to understand the situation, understand themselves, and how they impact others. Would it be safe to say across the landscape that that is a missing trait? Not to dog anyone out, but maybe it's assumed, but very rarely realized, right? That the impact that we have on individuals, right, and what we choose to do or choose not to do will create certain outcomes. Do you think that this is the number or one of the top 3 traits that is missing from just global leadership, I guess, as a whole?
Well, it might be top 3. It's certainly on a short list.
Yeah.
It's not really a missing trait. It's a skill that we haven't worked at. It's a skill that we haven't built. For one reason, to have emotional intelligence, you need to get feedback. And too many leaders are resistant or defensive, or because of their control or posture or the way they communicate, people are really hesitant or scared to give them the feedback they need. One of the things that I teach about, Cody, to get people to think about that emotional intelligence is that when you become a leader, you're like a fish in a fishbowl and you're swimming around. And the reason I say that is because you can say something, but people are going to watch to see what you do. What direction do you swim in? What are your blind spots? They're standing around that fishbowl. Seeing is believing. And so that helps people understand, I've got to have emotional intelligence about connecting the dots between what I say and who I say we are and what I do. So that's part of emotional intelligence. And the other thing I talk to them about is that when you move up in leadership, even higher and higher and higher, you get a bigger fishbowl every time. And it's not because you're a bigger fish. You're the same fish.
Right.
You get that bigger fishbowl because there's more people standing around it. You're affecting more people. You're impacting more people. So there, you got to have a bigger fishbowl so more people can watch, and they will watch what you do.
That's true. That's true. And I think you're absolutely right. I just think there hasn't been an added emphasis on understanding that, yes, your bowl, your territory, if you will, your reach has expanded, but you yourself really are the same person. You just have now more on the plate, right? And you have to use all of the utensils, not just the fork. You have to use the knife, the spoon, right? And any other kind of tool to really be diligent at your task. So with your experiences and everything that you've kind of encountered, you decided to write the book. Like you said, you were CPA for about 40 years. What inspired you? What said, look, now is the time. I want to get this out of me. I want to encourage the next generation. Why did you go about writing this book?
All right, that's great. And let me close that other segment on leadership.
Sure.
Why that emotional intelligence is so important. You cannot lead others until you can lead yourself. You cannot lead others until you can lead yourself. So, I never saw myself becoming an author. It kind of just was an evolution. It started out earlier in my career. I was asked to co-author some books based on expertise, technical expertise. And I love to teach on leadership. So I built some classes around leadership. And so, I created some materials there. Then early 2000, I wrote a very small paperback book called Creating Value. You can still buy it on Amazon. But it's for young professionals, like how to fast track your career, how to get off to a good start. And then in 2012, when I became the managing partner of Horn LLP, where I'm at today, I started a blog. I write a blog every week. In fact, you can go to joeyhavens.com and sign up for that blog today. I've written it every week for now 11 years. And
Wow.
so that led to, me serving as the managing partner of Horn for 9 years. And then these last couple of years, I've been in transition. So I thought I might put all that together and write a book one day. Actually, God would not let me sleep and rest until I got started on it. So I started on it and finished the book earlier. And again, it'll be out for full release, retail, June the 6th.
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, look, congratulations. So you said something that really caught my ears. You said, God would not allow me to rest until, you did this. Would it be safe to say that any task that one endeavors upon, especially if it's something that they haven't done before, you need the favor of the Lord, right? Like you cannot do this just off of prior skill set because you just don't know enough. How much how much has faith been helpful in this situation?
Well, for me personally, faith is a huge part of it, and part of the thread throughout the book and Leading with Significance, because it's about leading in a way that impacts others' lives, serving others. I believe that God calls us to serve others. We're not created just to take care of Joey,
Right.
just to worry about Joey. That's chasing success. And in the final chapter of the book, I talk about we have two choices. We can chase success, or we can lead with significance, where we impact people's lives. Success always follows us if we are leading with significance, but significance doesn't always follow success. So it's it's kind of a calling for me. I've always felt my purpose on earth. Why did God create me? Is to help people see and realize their full potential. And this book is written to inspire leaders to trust in the good in people and to intentionally serve and care for them in ways that builds trust and leads to high performance.
I like it. I like it to really see and understand the good in people. So it's a different style, right? I think sometimes when we read or I would say the modern school of thought as far as business leadership is, you gotta be this go-getter, don't sleep, work 200 hours a week. And then from that, you'll have all the success. And it's really individualistic. It's not holistic, right? It doesn't really lead with significance. It leads with this idea of what you want has to become priority, and then what you want should trickle down. How far, I guess, is the question, have we skewed? And what I mean by that, I think sometimes when you're in these jobs and these roles, when you say something like that, the response is, well, what about the goals? What about the revenue goals? What about the goals? How can you balance, right? Like, I can balance goals with purpose. How do you go about doing that?
Well, It takes faith. I mean, it starts with there. I believe, and we've proven at Horn in our last decade, that if you put people first, if you make culture number one, you'll have all the growth you can handle. You'll have profitability. It actually starts with culture and taking care of people. We forget this, Cody. The way people work, how they work, depends on why they work. And so if you care for people, they're going to care for the clients and the customers. They're going to care for the goals of the company. They're going to care about building something bigger than themselves. But you have to care for them first. They have to know that their dreams are important. It's not about building a culture that's dream world. That's not it at all. It is about having a culture where you and I have such a strong sense of belonging, we feel we can accomplish our dreams also.
No, well said. Well said. So Horn is different. I will say the organization that you're describing is rare air, right? Like it's something that does not happen often. It's hard to find, hard to be a part of. Where is, in your opinion, like when you kind of watch I'm reading the news and all these big tech firms and huge companies, and they're talking about we got to shave 10% of our workforce. And they let 500 go. They let 5,000 go. Just for no reason. Like, oh, well, just in case there's an economic recession. We got to do this. We got to do that. Where is business going? Because if you're a leader or if you're trying to become a leader, but you don't trust the environment, how can you lead in an environment you don't trust? Where is business going?
Well, you're just in another way of, I think, what you're asking is, how is this uncertainty today? How is it affecting business and the future of business? And I think that makes leading with significance that much more important. In other words, if people believe you care and they are trusting you and trusting leadership and trusting the company, then they're going to make those discretionary efforts. They're going to be creative. They're going to be innovative. And it's one of the best ways to deal with uncertainty, by having a workforce that is all in. And, one of the new skills in leadership that I believe is essential because of the exponential change and the transformation is we need to be more anticipatory. We need to be first movers sometimes, not just agile. We need to be quick. We certainly can't be reactionary. I mean, we're going to lose for sure, but sometimes it's agile because something moves that we hadn't anticipated. But if we're anticipatory, if we think about what do we know about the future that we can start to look for opportunities and challenges, that's when the strategic planning really gets relevant today. You have to really look forward. It's not incremental change anymore.
Is there enough incentive to move forward? And maybe this is being pessimistic. Sometimes I feel, and I don't know if this is analytically true, but progress isn't rewarded. Failure is. And I know that sounds funny, but it's like, as you mentioned, we got to be anticipatory. We got to be able to, more than react, we got to be able to respond and actually lead in a way that is more than just linear. We got to be dynamic. And sometimes I feel like there's added pressure to not be as responsive for whatever reason. I don't know the reasons behind it. I just feel like, there are very few quick shifters out there.
I think some of it is our human nature. When we get scared, we freeze sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think some businesses, some leadership teams are freezing. They're getting stuck. And, you know, look, a lot of businesses have been successful doing what they're doing for many years.
That's true.
And so it's very hard to change. It's very hard to move away to a new business model, to see customers and clients interacting in a different way, or having completely different needs. Their needs have completely changed. So you have all of that going on really across all the industries in the world today. So a lot of times that fear grabs us, and so we just freeze thinking we're going to make a mistake, which is really the worst thing we can do. We actually need to make some mistakes so that we can learn which direction we need to be going in. So one of the words I've started using is experimenting.
Oh, wow.
Leaders need to experiment more today. Hey, get it 80% where you think. It's not about getting it perfect before you roll it out, because that's what we've always done, is try to have it perfect. No, it's about getting it 80% there, putting it out there, getting feedback, and letting that plane take off and working on the seats and some of the air conditioning and stuff once you're up in the air. Doing that fine tuning and getting that last 20%, and realizing it might be a short flight, that, hey, this just not going to work today. So experimenting, I just believe that the more we talk about that, it'll help leadership step forward more. Hey, this is an experiment.
I like it. I like experimenting. Is that part of the significance portion? I know we hit on earlier, the qualities of a good leader. How do you do it with significance? Like, how do you do this task and be significant in it?
Well, the significance is really related to extending trust to your people, empowering them, one, to integrate their lives. Do they have input into how they manage their career and how they manage their personal life? When, where, and how they work. Now, flexibility is that's part of the future of business. It's not going away. And so to lead with significance, you've got to provide and manage that flexibility to where people can be successful. So it's really starts with the people. The couple of things that we've talked about, like experimenting, that is more a business model strategy. But when you have strong culture, when your people are not scared to fail, you'll have more experiments that work, because they will embrace it and not be scared to innovate around it, not be scared to own their voice. Every voice counts when you lead with significance. So when you get that collaboration going and diversity in thought, you get better solutions. So it makes more of your experiments succeed. And that's why leading with significance is so important.
I like that. I like the experimental part of it, and extending trust and empowering people. I believe that you have to be a general that also gets in the mud, right? Like, I love action movies. That's my thing. We're all great action movies, whether it's 300 or whatever.
I like action movies too.
Yeah, when you see the general or the leader is fighting in the battle too, that they're taking the hits, they're swinging the sword. It encourages the troops to want to go further and faster, because you feel like we're all in this together. Versus like, hey, look, you're on the sidelines and commanding me to go out and battle, So no, definitely. Look, I appreciate it. I know we're coming down to the final stretch. Just one more question, and then I'm gonna ask you, where individuals can buy copies of the book. So as you are now, like you said, you're entering into kind of this retirement phase. What does legacy mean for you? Like, you look back over and you say, look, over this past 39 years, what is my legacy? What is that for you?
Well, I mean, honestly, I don't focus on legacy, but I realize that we all leave a wake, but it's a very small wake in when you think about God and creation and all of that. But I think that I would want my legacy to be about fulfilling the purpose that God put me here, that I have shared God's love and my faith in Jesus Christ, my Savior. I think that's the most important thing. And as long as I've done that, I think I've done what I've been called to do.
I love it. I love it. And I share that same faith. Joey, you have been absolutely amazing. Where can they purchase the book, follow the blog? Where can they connect with you?
Great. Thank you for that, Cody. JoeyHavens.com. You can sign up for the blog. I also post the blog on, LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. So it gets posted there. And I'm Joey Havens on LinkedIn. I'm Joey Havens CPA on Twitter. You can pre-order the book right now at Amazon. And if you pre-order and then send an email to joey@joeyhavens.com, you can participate in a free webinar with me to talk about the book and the insights. And I'll break those webinars down into very workable groups, so you'll have time to ask questions and things. So for anybody that pre-orders before June the 6th, you can send me that email and you'll get an invite to be in one of those webinars. I don't know all the retail outlets yet, Cody.
Sure.
All of that is still being signed and agreed to, but I'll have a list of those soon. But it'll be in a lot of major bookstores.
Perfect. Y'all connect with Joey, hit him up on LinkedIn, go to the website, follow the blog, go to Amazon, pre-order the book, go to joeyhavens.com, go to the website, and we'll have the list of the retailers in which you can purchase the book. I want to thank my guest. Joey has been absolutely amazing. You know what you got to do. If you like what you see, you dig the podcast, you dig the show, YouTube at CVMK, hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, www.cvmkglobal.store, where your supplements are. There, Instagram, CVMK33, CVMK_global. It is what it is show. And I appreciate everybody. Until next time, guys. Thanks.
Thanks.